Why hello out there, crypto world. How are y'all doing this lovely Tuesday evening, December 11th, 2018? Y'all know who it is? It's your boy, Z-Rex. And no noise. Coming at you live, as we like to do most days. And we like to talk about Bitcoin, cryptos, internet, magic internet monies, equities too, and some commodities as well. Kind of all things trading. Options too in the future, but those will be different. Maybe I'll do like a live stream of like when I'm trading options actually, like on my account. That might be kind of cool. I don't know. If you think that'd be cool, leave a note below in the comment box, por favor. Alright, let's talk about this magic internet money. Alright, let's go to the market overview real quick. Little sub 110 billion, 108.11 to be exact. Still hanging out just barely over 55 cents. 55%. I'm gonna say the whole word there. BTC dominance. Let's look at some movers today. I'll kind of lower this a little bit since the market has gotten destroyed. Alright. Waves continuing its little run from the other day. Binance Coin. Yeah, let's go look at Binance Coin actually. I guess we'll look at it in USDs. Alright. Binance Coin getting slapped pretty well. Like everything else, not a surprise, but you know, it's still $5, which is pretty impressive. Let's look at a measured move. Or percent here. Actually, not a measured move. Still down. 82%. Alright, so that's not as great. Sometimes you gotta measure it, because when you're on log, you can't see it as much like you can see on linear. There you go. But if you want to look at this price action, you can't really see it on linear, so you gotta go back to log. Alright. Especially when you're looking at cryptos. It's a common thing. Anyway, back over to price action. Let's see what the... Oh my god, I have not done that in a long time. Good thing, we just started and I've just been talking mostly. Anyway, here's the charts we've been looking at. We were talking about log, just to do a quick little recap since my screen was off. Versus log versus linear, you know. I was measuring this move to see what it was. And it's about 85%. And I was saying you have to measure it when you're on log because you can't really tell unless you really are looking over here on the scale to the right. But yeah, if you just take it off, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Now you can tell how much down that is visually, but then you can't see this price action. Boom, now we're moving on. That was the recap of just a minute ago when my screen was off, if you were wondering. Alright, so bears in the weak zone on the hourly. Bulls are not yet in the power zone. They are really close though. And on the daily, got a little consolidation kind of move here. Let's see. Trying to base out. Not really too sexy. Again, y'all know what the deal is. We gotta wait for Mama Bear to wave in the battle flag. Alright. So, what else is on here? Waves. Let's check out waves. Ride the wave, man. Hodl the wave, bro. Oh, wow. Having a phenomenal... Jesus, having a phenomenal here last couple of weeks. Super big pump, coming back down to reality for a second. Is finding support though on the 21 and around the 55 daily, so that is a good sign for the bulls. I'm gonna go ahead and put me an alert on here. Crossing below that for me is gonna be a little bit of a bearish signal, so alrighty. See on the hourly, yeah, holding nicely on the longer term moving average. Back kind of in a neutral though on the DMI, so that's not really that cool. It's better to see a sustained move and nice just kind of upward and to the right. Price action, 45 degree and, you know, not this crazy shit here. Like, I mean, what is that? It's like pretty much vertical. It's like, it is no degrees. It's like 2 degrees. Alright, so waves looking okay. Again, waiting on BTC, Mama Bear to tell us something, but, you know, cracking above 175 regardless of what Mama Bear wants to do right now. Might lead us up to... Let's do a little measured move. We can check that out. If we take this distance from over here to there... If it could break out of there, the 168 is about $1.85. So yeah, there's a little space in there, which also is around this cluster of business. So that's pretty likely to hit it if we break 175, right? A little 10 cents in there. And you're like, why would I only want 10 cents? I don't know. If 5% isn't cool for you, and usually a day or so or days, it's fast. Gotta think long term, man. Like the hodlers. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to my hodlers out there. I hodl a little bit too. I do have a little bit of BTC that I'm just holding a little forever. But I will hedge it though sometimes when like markets break critical areas like it did this recent time at 500-ish. So, you know, I'd just rather be delta neutral when that price action starts going not in my favor, because sometimes you really burn your emotional capital when the price gets so beat up and you hold something down 90%. I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate now, considering market conditions. It's all good. It's part of the cycle. Live and learn from it, most importantly. All right, price action. Hourly is printing a point of control here. And if you want to know what a point of control is, I've mentioned it several times on the videos here. It's off of something that's a market profile, usually in other, like in traditional markets, that's what they call it. And volume profile with the bars that are over here, like on the side, you know, like all like this and like all that. That's volume profile, and then market profile just takes the day and arranges it in such a way where it has a different outcome on the fairest price to do business than a lot of other things that I've seen before. I find it very useful, so check that out. It is only on the Pro though, so you would have to get that, but I think it's totally worth it. Pro's already worth it. You get alerts and all, and I mean, its trading view is awesome. I don't think it's at discount anymore. Just wait for it to go on sale. They usually do it around now in the holidays. Get you a deal. That's like $300 for the whole year for Pro. I mean, that's perfect. That's great. You got to spend the money to become good at anything, right? And you need tools. It's one thing I wish I did earlier when I got in. I was being a cheapskate and didn't want to buy anything. It was like, no, I'm not gonna. $40 a month, that's crazy, and like all this BS, right? Just because I just didn't want to spend the money. And but you realize that you need to, because tools help you. You couldn't be a carpenter without a hammer, you know. Ain't gonna work. Anyway, neutral zone on the 4 hour for the bears. They're still kind of in the like right on the sorry, I had to zoom out a little bit here. They're kind of like right teetering right underneath the power zone. And that is, if you notice when I draw my lines on here, sometimes that's not like exact science there. You can see they're kind of, I just put them in that general area. You have to be a little bit loose in trading with price usually. Just to kind of, and just kind of in general, you know, because everybody's watching the same movie. It's super easy to be like, oh yeah, you just come over here, man, and you wait for it to get like right back over here, and then you short, and then, you know, or wherever you're looking at, or here, or buy. Right when it gets back over here, you buy it. It's a great buy. It's a lot of support, and then this happens, and you're like, crap. And then what happens? Price tries to get back above, and then gets rejected from these lows. That's not good. That's not a healthy look when you see that, but it'll be hard if you don't sell it. If it just gets below that period, or whatever you set your risk tolerance up as, maybe it's a couple $100. But, you know, risk to reward, talking about that, you know, being long here, you would could argue that, you know, being long here with a stop at 3,200 isn't probably the worst trade, especially if you're a little bit, you know, maybe a month out or something like that in time. At least, you know, a couple weeks. But let's see here. But I don't like something, because I'm going to show you, since we just had the daily close a little bit ago, about an hour ago. So let me, yeah, sometimes this sucks. Oh, let's go to full screen too. There we go. All right, so as you can see here, this daily closed below the last 4 days of candle bodies. That is not a great look. That is not what you want to see, okay, guys? I'm going to go ahead and put 3377 is what that is. That was close. There we go. So this line right here is going to be pretty significant. And now, could it come above it? Yeah, very likely that it could do that, for sure. But that is kind of telling us and confirming on this daily that this is just, you know, a little liquidation break, redistribution. And we're about to continue. And it's also happening right here at this long-term trend line since the breakdown occurred as well. So there's a lot of confluence here. Also rejected at the 21 on the 1 hour. We're not even close on the daily, so that's whatever at this point on the 1 hour. But we are printing good point of control, so you can see how price has been gravitating around this point of control, which is this red horizontal, and that just does take into price action here. I'm not exactly sure how the formula works, but it is very useful. You can see too, you've got like look in here and you can see they're kind of stacked, so there's going to be lots of resistance just right here alone. And then look for that to, you know, correlate with other things as we like to do. So here's that line I just put on. Look at that, body closed right. I mean, it couldn't even get any closer than that, guys. See this here, here versus here, and I anchored it to the close of this body. And this body tried to get right up to it and rejection. And so now, as you can see, as time goes by, another few hours, it's likely to get rejected because where we are in the time scale, right? So don't forget, there is a horizontal axis too, not just price. Everybody always is just looking over here, but there is time too. And if you look here, now as another 3 hours go by, 2 or 3 hours, we'll cross this point after about 9 or 10 o'clock today. And then if it's going to now test above 3,800 or this 3777, I'm sorry, 3377. Man, I'm off today. I'm sorry. It's been a long one. Coming up, so now if it does do that after the next 3 hours, then it would have to break this trend line channel, which so far hasn't been broken since like 60, I'm pretty sure. And I'm not talking about this long-term one. I just left that on there because I think that'll be relevant at some point. But I'm talking about this short-term one from, yeah, when it broke down from 6,300. So, been intact, been tested, you know, a few times, kind of rode it down right there. You can really see it on the 4 hour, the wicks coming up, tapping it. So yeah, we're just going to kind of wait here. I am a little bit leaning bearish just because of this daily candle. Closing above that, it didn't do it with a lot of conviction. You know, like this one over here was a pretty nice full-bodied open. Just know we're just selling all day, and then close right below it. But it did, and so did this one, and it even dipped a little bit lower. But some buyers came in, so there is going to be a little resistance here, as y'all are certainly aware of. All right, so kind of I'm rambling here. I'm sure. Below 32 still. That's my ultimate spot where I add on speculative shorts. Or if we bounce back up into this trend line, back up into here, I will add another short because the risk is easy to manage just right above it. Or once you get in here, it's likely price will kind of just chop around underneath, maybe go through it, but probably not. But either way, doesn't matter. Easy to manage risk right over here above the this wick and about where the 55 is, about 3,400. So I did take another short up here earlier, just tiny, super tiny. Just cause, you know, I just like to do that even if it is, hell, even if it's $100 or something, whatever. Sometimes it's nice just to do it for emotional capital reasons too, you know, like it helps you be more mechanical too with the price action and trade, opposite of probably how you do now, because we're not really wired to trade well. It's hard to do in our human brains, especially how we've been, you know, raised and all that, and that goes back a long time. We're not going to talk about that. All right, let's see if Ethereum is giving us confirmation. All right, so Ethereum, go to the daily. I'd like to start there. Oh yeah, so Ethereum has a little bit nastier looking candle below all of these, and well, except for these two wicks or tails, but all below the bodies. Still bearish on the daily, very bearish on the daily. 4 hours still pretty bearish. We tried to crack, you know, the mid zone on the RSI here. Couldn't really do it. It did touch it though, and technically it does. Let me see. It did go over it, so we could now we have a potential ability to set up bullish divergence. So that there is that to look forward to for the bulls. We haven't had that chance in quite a while. And technically, let me look here. All right, so we might actually do finally have some on that 4 hour right here. Yeah, we do. Now, it is a little bit far back, for a short period default RSI time frame, but still pretty good. Let's look at it on a daily. Yeah, back over here. All right, so it's finally getting to the point where it can confirm some divergence. Does divergence always play out? Definitely not, especially when the trend is firmly down. So do be aware of that and cautious. Please don't just be like, oh my god, I just gotta buy it now. Nah, don't do shit I say. Hell, what do I know anyway? And so looks like ETH is coming already and just about to. Oh, it's already closer. Look at that. It's percentage-wise, it's probably the same, but as Bitcoin. But yeah, neutral 4 hour, 1 hour. Bears are in control on the 1 hour as of this last candle. 850 bears are in it, and daily bears are still in it, and bears are in it pretty firm on the daily. We're getting close. Let's see. No, we're not. We're not even close to maybe trying to set up daily divergence. That's what's really crazy about these charts, guys, is that we need a lot more time to even start thinking about daily divs. The daily div. All right, let's go to Litecoin, see what it's talking about. Litecoin might have it. No, we still need to get above, you know, even if it's around here. I usually like to have it in the mid to high 40s. So kind of where I adjust that to. Yeah, it's kind of putting in what everyone thinks is regular divergence, but it's not really divergence until this line comes up and passes about, you know, or gets and taps 50 at least. Then it's just considered, the trend is still definitely to the downside. These are not, just erase it from your brain. It has nothing to do with oversold and overbought, and I know that's going to sound crazy. Just think of it how we talk about with the DMI. It's either in a power zone or a weak zone. But since there's only one line, the weak, you know, downside is just bears are strong, and up above 70, bulls are just strong. You just have to think of it a little bit different. But it's just still weak. It needs to get back up on a daily. So it missed it on this attempt. If this attempt could have broke out and tapped the 55, it would have happened. It did not. So we don't have textbook divergence on the RSI quite yet. So do be aware. Daily, Litecoin looks a lot like Ethereum's. See if it can kind of hang out here. Obviously, it's going to be bearish on the daily. It's been actually very bearish on the hourly for a while here. Pretty much all the way since yesterday. Early in the early morning, around 3 a.m., which is interesting because is that what... Let me go back to ETH real quick. Man, I'm getting hungry. That's probably what it is. So I'm going to try to wrap this one up then. Yeah, so it's been kind of bearish too since the 10th, so a little bit later, but it hasn't been as powerfully bearish as Litecoin. Litecoin is definitely in a is showing some mo weaknesses. You can see here that the hourly has been up above in the power zone most of the time, also keeping RSI below 50 in that mid-range there. So we're right here on the cusp, guys. You know, this could be long trades for the range, but considering we're at the apex now, say me, I guess, this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to be taking those trades. I'm getting long here. I don't like how this daily closed. If the daily closed up more over here, then I probably would add long or close and be completely delta neutral instead of short bias. But right now, I'm short biased because especially how this daily closed. So that's why I added just a little bit now to my speculative, like super tiny. But then once it officially breaks, then I will add more to my short at that point, which is 3,200 is what I'm looking for an official one, and that needs to be on a high time frame, at least above a 4 hour. That's what I'm looking for. Likely even just kind of coming down there. It's that, you know, if it goes down there, it's likely to break through it. I mean, look at this weak price action. This is not sexy looking at all. Look at getting rejected constantly since it got underneath the 21 with this lame attempt earlier today, this afternoon, to just close on the lows. Not looking great. Closed right on the POC of yesterday, too. Look at that. I mean, to the T. Pretty funny. Yeah, if you don't use that, definitely check it out. I think on here it's called VSRV or something, or VPRS. If you pull up the volume profile things, here, let's just do it real quick. Yeah, I work for TradingView now. So when you have Pro, it'll add the volume profile on here, and then you have 3 different ones, and it's the session volume, is what they call it. So I just call market mixing my shit up here. I call volume profile the one on the side. That's over here on the right side of the chart next to the scale usually, and then market profile is what I consider this. That's where point of control comes from and stuff like that. And they do it in 30-minute periods, just like this is being done too. So anyway, moving on. Get it on there. It's cool. Yeah, so once even close on the hourly below like 33.10, it's not going to be very hot for Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm not really liking this price action. Let's go look at private coins. Maybe they're showing some strength of some sort. Had no power to even get up into here and closed below all of the tails. Not a good sign. Below the POC as well. And yeah, looking real weak on the 4-hour. Bears can easily gain command here quickly because the bulls are already in the weak zone. So yeah, it's hardcore bearish bias on Monero right now. Let's see, let's go to the dash, and then we're gonna go to equities. Yep, same kind of thing. Doesn't maybe look quite as bad. Yeah, a little bit better. You can see this daily. Still, they're all closing a little bit below the last 4 or 5 days of business. A lot of them are getting caught by the tails here, but that tails don't really mean anything. Especially when evaluating like how I am here, you want to use bodies. All right, let's go over to equities, because they've been moving wild. So as you can see, here's the open, overnight, right before open, I should say, sorry. Ramping up, selling off, got back, looks to be close to half back. Oh no, it's right about the 618. I actually need to add all those back on there because I was making a different chart to clean it up to send somebody, and I took off a bunch of the measures, so I'm gonna add those back on there. All right, yeah, so actually coming up here right on the 618, so closing above, you know, 60, let's just call it 67, 66, or 26.80 to 27. I think that's good. Oh my gosh, that's not what I wanted to do, man. Point of control right at the top of this candle. So 2660 will probably give us a bounce to that 2700 level. So it kind of looks like right here. But though it is bearish on the daily, so careful. Bears are in control right now. Oh, here's textbook RSI. So on Bitcoin, you're probably like, what? What are you talking about, bro? This is it. Boom. Boom. An attempt. Technically, actually, I'm gonna have to start it from this one. An attempt over 50, or your half back, you know, wherever that might be. Mine's right here around 47. High or low, right? And it just needs to go above that mid-level once in the same time frame that you're trying to get divergence on. And you go here, technically lower low, right there, just barely, but way higher high, RSI. Broke it again. And it actually this time made hidden bullish divergence here and here. Here and here. So a little bit stronger on that. Slightly lower on an opening basis. Same about area, but higher again. So when it goes over that mid part and then you get the divergence, that is the textbook divergence. Not just how most everybody uses it And you can look at that yourself in lots of time frames, and when you're checking charts out, and you'll notice a lot of times when it doesn't get over that 50 mark, it'll be a fake, not fake divergence. It was, I guess, kind of there, but it wasn't the proper divergence. All right. Yeah, so right here, I am long a little bit markets in this area. It's just hard not to be long here. I'll show you a chart that I made. I think it's kind of funny. Does the VIX seem like it's around 20? I don't know. Does it? Traders out there, let me know what you think, because it's pretty wild. Look at this. Since kind of coming down from the highs, which isn't that long ago. It's just like right there. See? So, not that far away. I just wanted to put for illustration, zoomed in. Look at that. 6, pretty much, let's just call it 7, rounded off. 7 down, 7 up, 7 down, 7 up, 7 down. It's crazy, isn't it? Now it is 3 taps on each side already, so, you know, I don't know. I don't really care about fractals that much, or just kind of seeing it go in this weird box pattern, though. This is interesting. This isn't very normal, that's for sure, especially for equities, and doing these 6-7% moves in a week or two, like each one. You can see up here, actually, 9 days. It's almost like 1% a day. 8 days, almost 1% a day. 12 days, 15, 14 days. Well, this one hasn't been 14 days. It's actually only been 37 or 8 days, roughly. So yeah, there you go. That's pretty intense price action. So just given that this is held up doesn't mean it's going to again. Since I'm finally going to take it, it'll probably break, right? But we got Fed week next week, and we also have the triple witching. Usually we like to rally kind of up into Fed meeting, which puts us kind of like around the middle part of the channel, and then Christmas Day is right here where my crosshair, the vertical one, is. So I guess kind of that would put in a weird pattern if we wanted to get voodoo on it. Yeah, look at that. Right on Christmas Eve this goes to. And it keeps about consistent with these other. I did it at 50. It's 52, 67, 37. 50 is about in the middle. So yeah, pretty funny. Whatever, doesn't matter. That's just for mental masturbation. I'm not trading off because of that projection. I'm trading because it's at this range. It's found support. There's also lots of support on the chart. If we go back and look over here, you have just off the candles alone some support there, and the bears are finally starting to get back down while the bulls have been creeping up ever so quietly this whole time, as you can see on DMI, and you can see it real good on DMI and slightly on RSI too, but real good on DMI. Getting back into a neutral zone, hovering there while we're still having all this downside action, and now the bears have been dragged in on a 4-hour, so that is that's kind of pretty textbook. This market has been trading fairly textbook. It's like technically wise, it's pretty funny. Hindsight's always 20/20, but you know, when you get this right here, everyone wants to get long here, but you don't have a confirmed breakout. It needs to close above the range. So that was a short. I did not take that, but would have been a great short if you did. Give yourself a real big pat on the back, because that was a great trade. Hard trade too to pull off, just because the emotional part. Easy, you look at it and you're like, oh duh, I would have shorted it, right? I would have bought right here, dude, and right here. Every time it touches the 55, I just wait and buy it, you know? Yeah, okay. Try that in real life, see what happens. Not to be discouraging, but your emotions will be a lot different. Man, we're having some little pumping action going on while I'm taking y'all to the NASDAQ. Looky here. Creating a point of control. Although it just started, it's just got a couple hours. You can see how it already moved down to here, which is good. That's probably where it'll chill out at, unless we dump hard. Because you got a lot of business down in these areas. Let's see. Let's ramp up time frames. We don't even need to look at no 5-minute chart now. Oh man, I do not like this. Oops. I need to give me 1 second to change this. I don't like that style. I like them hashed. The dotted one almost like makes it more annoying somehow. Alright, much better. Yeah, so Bear's still kicking in on the daily. Same kind of situation though, as just like on the S&P that I was just explaining, with the bulls kind of creeping up. Except the bulls are showing a little bit more strength. They're up here battling right on the power line right now. So, yeah, there's about to be probably a large move, a swift one, out of this price action here this week. That'll be nice. Alright, so overall though, battling on the 4 hour. Let's see who has it on the 1 hour. Oh, so the bulls have it on the 1 hour just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. Especially if they do good in the overnight session here, they will reclaim that status. But as you can see last night when that happened, USA woke up and said, well, no, fuck that. But look where it did come back to. All this support, stacking point of controls. Grind it up before it popped. Now we're coming back up. Yeah, this is an interesting chart. Watch that red. Ultimately, 6,800 above that would be nice. Alright, let's go to that good old Earl. You're like, what the hell is Earl? Earl, I got a neighbor named Earl. No, that's how some people say it here. It's pretty funny. Alright. And you're like, dude, it's Austin. Well, you know, Austin's in the middle of Texas, so don't forget that part. Oil. Finally seeing the oscillators be able to work off some energy here, some bearish energy. As y'all know that I've been long oil here with my stop right around 55.40, which, or 50.40, I'm sorry, which has been holding up pretty damn good since I put the trade on. Probably back somewhere in, I guess it was probably right around here. And yeah, so I'm still holding that one. It's okay. Not really making any money, not really losing any money, just kind of just sitting there being boring. It's okay. You gotta be patient. Let your trades work sometimes. But this energy looks pretty good. Neutral. Kind of neutral. Bears have gotten real quiet. The volatility has collapsed. You can see that up here on the upper indicator. And you can see little spikes when it turns purple-ish. Those are like little bear spikes. It's like, whoa, watch out. You know, it doesn't mean that it's going to keep going down, but you need to take note of it for sure. So you've had some noise in there. Like, see, this one popped with this drop, but this big drop didn't yield any change in color on the line. So didn't really matter to the formula on that. But anyway, yeah, so this is bouncing, kind of making not the prettiest basing pattern, you know, but hey, it's the best one that we've had in a while, considering oil has been down for 2 months straight with almost no upticks. So congrats too if you shorted any of that. That would have been an amazing trade. So yeah, coming down here at this bottom level. Might just go sideways into this, but my long, I'm still looking to test like the upper part of these wicks. So there's that. Oh, do we look at it on the 4 hour? Yeah, neutral 4 hour, bullish 1 hour. How about on the 850? 850 is neutral. And the daily is slight advantage to the bears. The only reason I say that, you're like, well, wait, it's in the neutral area, but the bulls are all the way down here, like in the teetering, getting out of the forgotten zone. So they're close. I would not be surprised to see a crazy ass $2-3 jump in oil here out of nowhere one of these days. That's probably around the corner. Doesn't mean this trend is over. It can still pop. Shit, if it does it in the next week, shit can still pop to like 56 and it doesn't matter. So kind of looking to maybe take that trade-off at that point in time. All right, and then I'm going to go over here to gold. Gold has been bumping up against this. I did sell my long GDX position we talked about a long time ago. When you're just coming up on resistance like this and ride-a-banging on the red, and with this price action that got rejected, then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just take my money and run like a thief in the night. You can always open a new trade, and as you should. Don't get married to a trade. This breaks out again above you know, this level like we talked about, 1268, 1270, then probably run into a 1300 and I'll re-enter and get long some gold there. But considering the Fed rate thing next week too, I might just wait until that happens. That should be an entertaining day. Final thoughts, Bitcoin. You already know the deal. Watching this boxes, we drew it out there. This is what it is. Same story. Buy zone breaks it, it's dead, get out of it. Sell zone breaks it, it's dead, buy it, get long. Right? Maybe just wait for that. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm not really going to get long until we get, maybe if we just break out of this and come on up over 4 hour on the 55 exponential, but until then, I just don't even really care. Not even thinking about it. So, hourly. Neutral. Trying to hold on to that semi-divergence. It's trying to build. It's attempting to build. It doesn't have it on the daily, but on the lower time frames, you could argue this one here is trying to create it, but it's not. It's like not really though. It's not really, because the problem is that you do have it go over the mid zone. You did have it breach here though, so I guess we're gonna call it like this. The problem is that goes way too far back too for the shortened time frame, so that's one issue. So let's go ahead and adjust that because we didn't have that arc up here. So alright, so that actually looks more proper totally. So you count that one, the previous below, or wherever your anchor is if it does get above there, and that's what it should be looking like. So you do have some right here to here. It looks like. Oh no. Well, yeah, you could draw it like this. So technically you do kind of have it on here, but the problem is you have it on the 4 hour, but it's not confirmed on the daily, right? So that's where you got to like watch out and use multiple time frames. That'll trick a lot of people, and they'll get long in a in this kind of situation, because it is a little bit confusing. I totally get that. And in this kind of situation, and then it'll be, you know, wreckfest. I mean, think about it. It hasn't done it before when everyone thought it was bullish divergence back on these dumps. It ended up going a little bit lower. So yeah, really this doesn't even have it anymore. It failed to do that one. You could say here this is the middle, so maybe it can build one out here from this one. So that is kind of the new line, but that's so depressing that I'm actually just gonna delete this line. Alright, I hope it is bullish. I don't want to be bearish. Don't think that it's like I'm, you know, oh, I hate Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I love cryptos. They're not going anywhere. They will be worth, some of them will be worth a lot more than they are today. Most of them will not, though. So I am on the fence of loving the crypto scene. And I do believe some of those gigantic numbers as well. So keep that in mind. All right. Yeah, could we pop up into this trend line and stuff? Yeah, absolutely we can. Anything can happen, y'all. Anything can happen. But let me see this real quick because it was drawn. Oh, that way. Yeah, okay. I guess I was stuck in linear for a second. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, so on this one, kind of here at the lows, long, you could do it if you wanted to. A little bit ballsy, just considering we're in a down market. It's better just to buy dips and bull markets and then sell rips and bear markets once you have them confirmed. It's a lot less stressful, that's for sure. because you're not going against the trend, you know? Alright, so y'all know what it is. Breaking this, any of these bodies right here is not going to be good, and probably give us a trip down to 3,200. That doesn't mean that we break it, but closing a 4 hour or above on the 3,200 level mark will probably bring us into about the 2,600, 2,700 area. That's where I'd first be looking. Possibly the 25 too. Alright, and above that, for the bulls, we got to see at least the hourly get above the 55 exponential, like, which it could do, but ultimately I want to see it on the 4 hour, and more than just this rinky-dink shit, like one and then reject, one and reject. Like, let's get up there for 3 or 4 candles, then that would be nice. But it's the problem is it's coming into this trend line, which is giving us a hint that like bears are still in control as well. All right, guys, much love. Found any value in this? You know what to do. Sub it, bell it, and smash it. This has been No Noise with Z-Rex. Signing off. Happy trading. Much love. Peace.